All right, welcome in, guys. Welcome in. How are you all doing? Oh, a little echo there. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Monday. Welcome in. Yep, short week, AZ stocks. We'll talk about it. We have a short week this week. It's a very gloomy Monday morning for me. The weather's not so great. Yeah, definitely gloomy, AZ. Good morning, guys. Mr. Rel. Good morning. Good morning. Eric Holmes, how you doing? Good morning. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, gloomy in all of the Northeast. Gloomy Michigan as well. Yep. All right. So we are going to discuss a lot today. We're going to talk about everything that's happening here in the pre-market session. We're going to go over all the levels I have here across the market. We're not going to waste time today. It's Monday. Monday, we always have a lot more to go over than our typical days. We have a lot to go over, right? So we'll talk about SPY, trading back into a critical level of supply. We're going to discuss some things across the tech sector, right? We'll talk about what's happening here on the tech sector, and we're going to go over what's happening here on the QQQ, obviously, right? So Q's moving down a bit aggressively this morning, a little bit of a gap down this morning on the Q's. So we'll talk about that level as well today, where levels are here on the Qs. It's basically the same things. A lot of the market is in the same range as what it was last week. So we'll talk about it again. The markets was obviously trending higher, and we're getting our pullback after trading back into supply. So a lot of things that are happening this morning are pretty logical and they make sense. So we'll talk about where the market's headed this morning. We'll go over Nvidia. We'll talk about Nvidia. We'll go over the levels here. Nvidia 190. Nvidia, very big level here. A little bit of a whim wham, right? Break above, fell back below 190. Very important level today on Nvidia. Okay, we'll go over that. We'll go over our chart here on Apple, right? Apple. We'll go over Meta, right? Meta, some big things happening here in Meta. And we'll also go over some other things that we usually don't go over. We are going to go over silver SLV, very big level here on SLV and GLD. If you guys have been following the overall precious metals market, right? You're seeing that there is one of the biggest rallies in silver in years, right? I mean, just an incredible move in SLV. So we'll talk about this today and potentially talk about where there is a day trade here if you are a silver trader. Okay, so let's move on. We have a lot to go over today, guys. By the way, Jason Davis, that is awesome. You've been that's really good to hear. You dialed in 4th green month in a row. That is awesome. No, seriously, that makes me happy. That is really, really good to hear. Congratulations, Jason. But that's all you. That is all you, and that is well deserved. Okay, so today's session, econ data earnings reports. I want to pull something up. Hold on a second. Before we do anything, let me just move this over here. I need to do something quickly. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna stall for time here while I pull up the giveaway winners. I have paid out so far only 2 people. There are a few more people that have reached out to me since then. So you guys will all be taken care of shortly. But you're going to see here, I'm going to put the giveaway winners up. And I've made a pledge for 2026. I've pledged all of my earnings for 2026 on earnings, all of my YouTube earnings, let's be clear, all of my YouTube earnings, right, to you guys. So any earnings I get go to you guys for the YouTube earnings. And so far, these are the winners. I've paid out about, I think I paid out 3 people. I can't remember how many I've actually paid out. So if you are a winner, reach out to me by Instagram, by Discord, whatever means you have, reach out to me. I'm giving you guys all by January the 1st to reach out. You guys are all the winners of the giveaway. Okay, so just understand that. That's what it is. Okay, let's move on, guys. We have a lot to go over this morning outside of our giveaway, right? There's a lot happening here. So let's discuss. Today, this week, right? Econ for this week. Monday session is heavy on the econ data. We have some data at 8:30, about 9 minutes ago. We have wholesale inventories 9 minutes ago. We have pending home sales at 10 o'clock in an hour and 20 minutes from now. Besides that, we have EIA petroleum status, so you have your oil names will react to this. And then also tomorrow, we have Chicago PMI and FOMC minutes. So Monday, Tuesday, some interesting things happening here in the mix. Wednesday session, jobless claims, 8:30 in the morning. And then Thursday, we have a full market closure. The market's fully closed. And Friday, transparently, I don't think many people are going to be trading on Friday. So in reality, we have 1, 2, 3 trading days this week. Thursday is going to be obviously full market closure. Friday is going to be very lackluster in terms of price action. But I will say this, recently, the days that you think are lackluster have not been lackluster. So I will be trading on Friday, the 2nd. I'm going to be here Friday. It's a full day for me. I'll be here. But my expectations are going to be set low. My bar is low, okay? But we'll see what happens on that Friday, January 2nd, okay? In terms of earnings reports for the week, there is nothing this week. Understand this, though. We are going into a new year right now, right? So this week is the last week of 2025. And on Friday, we have our first trading session of 2026. This also means something interesting. Before year ends, you're going to get a lot of crazy volatility before year ends. The last 3 days of year end, you tend to get a lot of volatility. The reason why is because you have a lot of institutions moving money around, right? Even for retail traders, you have retail traders moving money around. Let's just say, for example, you are a dead fish on AMD, right? You bought AMD at 250 a share, 240 a share, right? 200 a share. And you were like, you know what? Let's just harvest some of those losses. If you don't know what I mean by that, look up loss harvesting or tax harvesting on Investopedia, and you'll see what I'm talking about. A lot of the weaker names, you tend to see some selling into year end because what tends to happen is people tax harvest and they are moving monies to the name that to cash, and then by January 1st, they're buying back those weak names. So you may see some weak names continue selling this week, and you may see some strong names which you think are going to sell, not sell, right? Because think of it like this. Why would you sell the strongest name right now and get the tax exposure when you could wait until year end and not get that tax exposure, right, for 2025? Of course, right, it's not always as simple as that. You have some people who are doing things smart. For example, they're tax harvesting the weak names and selling the strong names, right? You could see that happening, which would then result in a net zero tax exposure. So everything I said is just taken with a grain of salt, okay? But the one important thing, though, is that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week, and Friday, of course, you're going to see a lot of volatility. Why? Because it's year end, right? It's year end. People are moving money around this week, right? Let's move on to our charts. Let's talk about what's going on here on the SPY chart, okay? So on the SPY, right? You guys know we said this on our Friday session. We said the first thing I said when I opened the SPY chart is the alarm bells are ringing, right? The alarm bells were ringing on Friday. And if you came to the pre-market, you knew that, right? The alarm bells were ringing. Why were they ringing? They were ringing because the market was trading back into a critical level of supply, okay? And the critical level of supply was here, right? This is where it was. It was right over here in between the zone of 691 and 692. That was where we had our critical level of supply. And why is that supply? It's because if you zoom out on larger time frames, right, you're going to see here on the SPY chart what's going on, right? It's not clear, but on the ES chart, it was a huge leg of supply. Go to the ES chart, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. It was this chunky level of supply between 7,000 ES to 7,010 ES. This whole area over here was supply, and we knew that the closer we got to this big level of supply, the more reason it was for us not to be long anymore. It was an area for us to look for shorts, or it was an area for us to say, you know what, I don't want to be long here. I want to take my long exposure off, and I want to wait for a dip or a pullback to go long into. And if you look at the market, that's exactly what's happening. In fact, if you came to the live trading on our Friday session, the only trade I had done on Friday was it was a short, right? I shorted almost the exact highs this session right over here. And then someone was asking me, Brett, how did you know we were going to reject there? My honest answer is I didn't, right? I just knew we had supply, and I saw a 5-minute candle rejecting off my level. I got short with the stop above the highs and got the downside move, right? Our levels guide everything, right? It's funny when you trade levels, people think that you're doing some voodoo magic. It's not voodoo magic. It's just there's a level here. There's an all-time high level, a previous weekly high level, right? A big level where the market could reject. It shows you it's going to reject. It shows you it's rejecting. and then you take short, right? And so that was what happened here on Friday. If you guys were with us on that Friday session, we literally bought short right over here on that candle, 948, and got a big downside move in the market, right? Now, this week, right in front of us, what's going on? Well, we're rejecting off supply, and we knew that this was going to happen. But the question is, where does the market pull back to, which would give us the best possible long entry? Because even though the market's rejecting off supply here, we are still within a larger time frame uptrend. And my view is this uptrend here in the market is not done yet, right? It's not done until it's done, right? It's not done until it's done. It's not done until we know that the goose is cooked and it's time to flip short. And where would that happen? For me, it's all about the 685s. If the market pulls back into the 685s, the big level of support right over here, and we pull back into it, it's a long, right? This is a long. Why is it a long? Because if you view this market as an uptrend, higher or lower, uptrend, lower, uptrend, we need this uptrend pullback over here. What's happening in the market, this rejection off the all-time high supply, yes, it's an all-time high rejection. Yes, it's a strong rejection. But as long as we are above the 685s, then we are still sustaining bullish. So my first level to watch for today's session is, do we pull back to 685? Because if we do, we're still bullish. And the market this morning is still bullish. Let's not misconstrue this. As long as we're above the 685, we are still bullish. If we lose 685, then we flip back to a bear bias and look for downside in this market back into 681. Because again, if we lose 685, you know where we're headed. Under 685, we're moving back down into 681, which is the next area here. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you look at the chart here, technically between 685 and 681, there is very low volume here. In fact, you're going to notice something else incredibly interesting here. Zoom in on the daily time frame for a second. I want you to see this. This is a really important hold spot in the market, okay? Because this is important. If the market does flip weak for whatever reason, there is a gap to fill here, right? You'll see it. It's not so visible here, but you'll see it mostly in the 5-minute chart, right? On the 5-minute chart, you'll get a better picture of what I'm saying here. You see how between 685 over here, 685, there is. This is not showing up as a gap for whatever reason on the daily chart. I don't know why it's not. But between 681 and 683, there is a $2 gap to fill here. And then obviously, right, you have a level here at 685. So what I'm saying is, if we lose 685, right, you very likely, my head is huge right now. Hold on, let me make my head smaller so we can get a better picture of this. Okay, so if we lose this 685 level here, right? You know we're going into 683 at least, right? Because that's where we're headed. That's the next level. But under 683, there's a gap to fill back down lower into 681. So you really want to see us maintain 685 because if you lose this level, you know we're going to 683. If you lose 683, we are gap filling back into 681. And that, in my opinion, is the short side trade. This is your short side trade. This is your long side trade. It's Monday. Things can change. Things could go crazy, right? We are data collectors on this Monday session. But the one thing I'm going to say here is when we had the big upside move on Friday, I said, let's raise the alarms for longs, right? We don't want to be longing this morning. When we see a big downside move on Monday morning like this, I'm raising my alarm bells for shorts. I don't want to short this downside move right now. It's not something that I want to go short into. In fact, this is an area, this pullback, right? This gap down lower is posing the question to me of where can I go long in this market, right? Where is a long? And my long is 685. Let's see if it maintains today, okay? If we lose this level, I flip back bearish. On the ES chart, where are the levels? On the ES, there is one other level to watch today though, right? And if you want to be a surgeon who goes short in these type of plays, you can do this. You have a level here at 6950 here in ES. If we lose 6950 in ES, we're going lower. Where are we going lower to? Well, we need to make some correlations for a second. Let's make some correlations. Look at the high from Monday the 22nd. See the Monday the 22nd high. Let's go back for a second. Where's that on SPY? Monday the 22nd high. Let's go back to that high for a second. Monday the 22nd. Monday the 22nd. Where is that? It's over here at 685, right? So you know that this Monday the 22nd high is likely where the market's headed to, right? This is where the high volume is in the market. So there's a strong argument that the market's going here. Do you want to short the move into that 685 level? That's your prerogative, right? That's your prerogative. You decide that. But again, I think that that's where we're going to. Is there enough meat in the bone to go short? sure, if you trade 0 days and you want to get the quick downside move, I think you will get this today. I think you will. And if you go to ES's chart, it even more so confirms that. Because look at this, you see under 6950, you should at least see that 6933, which would be that high from Monday session. But again, this is the area I want to see the market hold. If you hold it, upside. If you lose it, downside. Where? Back into 6900 ES, which would be an incredible short opportunity in the market. So that's what I'm seeing today, guys. It's actually a pretty simple set of levels we have. Everything that I'm doing today is guided off of the 685 level. Okay, that's the megalodon level this morning. Do we break it? Downside. Do we hold it? Upside. If we fail this level, if we fail below 6933, if we fail below this level, we are very likely seeing this 6900 level ES. So everything is very simple this morning here in SPY and ES, and I think we can all get a picture of what's happening. It's Monday though, right? It's Monday and we're still getting a read or a bias of the week in front of us. So let's be aware of that going into our Monday morning, because again, this is where we are data collectors. This is where we are simply just watching and spectating to get a view of what's happening. Because again, if I see one fat candle off the open break below 69.33, then I'm not long in the market, right? I'm not going to long it. But if I see a nice candle slowly pulling back into demand here at the 685 and I see his pin bar, I'm long on 685 today, right? I'm long on 685. So again, you need to see what the market does on the smaller time frames and how they respond to our levels. But as of right now, I would expect that the market's trying to form a higher low somewhere over here, and that's the 685, okay? So let's watch that today's session. On the QQQ, we are watching Qs today. Qs today is all about 615. 615, very key spot today. Under 620, we're going to 615. That's where I think we're going to, guys. So under 620, we should, in theory, trend back lower into 615. Is there a short for you today? Yeah, I can see it. If you're watching for some shorts today, you probably want to see us under 620 for the downside move, right? If this happens, a little bear flag play here. See a little bear flag set up on the intraday time frames. Yeah, sure, this is a short, right? So 620 needs to fail back lower for puts. If we do, look for 615. But don't be a muppet, right? Don't be the person that thinks this is the high, this is the absolute high, and we're not going back down lower, right? Or we're not going back higher, right? You know that if you are short off the 620s, you are a profit taker back into 615, because again, if this is an uptrend in the market, right, which I'll redraw it over here, if you start with uptrend, big upside move, downside, big upside move, downside, big upside move. If it begins pulling back, let's not assume this goes back down over here, right? Our assumption should be it's going to get bought back up over here around the 615s, and that's what I'm watching, right? So be careful of 615 today. It's a big area to watch. If you are short off the 620s, short it. I'm happy with that. But again, back into 615, you know this is a long, okay? So be careful of that. If we reclaim 620, we are grinding higher today, and we're going back into highs. So that's a very important idea, though, right? If you reclaim 620 in the market, we're going back higher, and we're going back into 625. So 620, big pivot today. Above bull, below technically intraday bear, but only as far back as 615. Okay, very important level here on the Qs chart, SPY, yes. And now let's move to IWM. The IWM here. Okay, so I was doing some fancy stuff over here. Let me just move that over. I want to jump over to our simple chart here. So on the simple chart, you can see that this is still a bullish chart, but it's doing something not great here. Okay, it's strong, but you're seeing that. Look what happened here: failure, level of highs, level of highs, level of highs, and then bam, level of highs. I think that you have a very simple bias here. As long as we are under 253, you don't go long, right? That's just simply what it is, guys. As long as 253 is failing underneath here, you don't go long in this chart. So above bull, below bear, and this morning we are bearish as long as we are under 253, and we're looking for shorts back into 246, 247. So I think that's where the market's headed. Under this high, it's going to this low. And this, in my opinion, is a wham-wham, right? What is a wham-wham? Breaks above, fails below, downside move. And so right now, I would expect that is what's happening here on the chart. Let's see what actually happens. But as of right now, on larger time frames, because we're under 253, I am mostly sided towards the bearish move here. Okay, that's the IWM. Moving on, let's go over some other names. Let's go over SLV. How many of you guys trade gold and silver? Do you guys actually trade gold and silver? I don't know if anybody has interest here. I'll make it quick because I know many of you guys probably don't. But gold and silver have been absolutely rallying recently. If you guys are away from these charts, because I haven't been watching silver in a long time. But you're going to see here, this is almost this is from the lows of October. The lows of October to where we are right now. We're up 72%. So call your grandma, right? Let your grandma know the silverware set is booming, right? Your silverware set is absolutely booming, okay? Sell that stuff on eBay, do what you got to do. But your silverware sets are booming. Your gold, your GLD also booming. It's not as booming as silver, but it is still doing pretty well. From the same lows to where we are right now, we're up 13%. But silver, something special about silver recently. Silver is absolutely insane. And where are the levels here in silver? Well, obviously it's pulling back this morning. You need to see this today. This is the big thing that I'm watching. If you are, and by the way, why, right? Why is it that you have your commodities booming? Well, just from like an econ perspective, commodities boom when there is fear in the market. Commodities boom when there's fear in equities, right? So basically the same thing. Commodities also boom when there is inflationary concern, right? So, for example, if there's like a debt concern, right, we just have too much debt, which is what's happening right now, or you have inflationary concerns, you move money towards commodities, right, to assets that have some tangible value. And that's what people are doing. They're moving money towards SLV. Now, if you look at the VXX, VXX is not moving higher. So you don't really have fear in the market, right? The fear in the market's not there. It's just the fact that you have fear in our government, right? Fear in the US dollar. And so when you see rallies like this on SLV, that's what it is, right? It's you have inflationary concern. And especially right now, it's about the debt ceiling. Okay, so just that's what's going on here on SLV. Obviously, some other things causing SLV to be more of a hold than gold. But this morning on SLV, it's super simple, guys. It's 65.50 on the SLV. If we pull back this level, you want to look for a long side trade. It's right here. This is the break and retest level, right? SLV 65.50. This is your long spot today. You need to see us hold here. If we lose this level, we're going back into this level over here at 60 flat, and 60 flat's my next big buy zone here in SLV. So level 1 and level 2 SLV levels, very big levels. GLD, we have a very big level in GLD. Look at this level here. It's the 403.50. 403.50 is the previous highs here. Triple top highs over here. Big downside move. It's the high from October. This is the level of all levels on GLD, right? 403.50. If we can pull back here, this is a long, right? This is your little upside move, your little bull flag, upside trade, right? So right now, this looks bullish as long as we're above 403.50. If we fail below 403.50, bear side move. But as of right now, we are looking bullish as long as we're above these previous set of highs. Because again, this is a break and retest long side move off of 403.50. Okay. So again, I'm not showing you guys GLD and silver because I think it's a fun thing to do, right? I'm showing it because there are setups here today, right? And when I see setups, I'll talk about it. It doesn't matter what the heck it is. It could be Kroger, right? But as long as there's a setup, I'll talk about it, okay? Nvidia, let's go under equities now, guys. We have a lot to go over here in equities in a short amount of time. We have 7 minutes. You're going to see me talk really fast. By the way, we have 1,100 people here this morning. And on my end, I have 101 likes. I don't know what it actually is, but that's what it's showing. It shows I have a 10% like conversion. So guys, get the like count up, okay? Nvidia 190 is your big level today, guys. If we are failing below 190, you know where we're going. We're going back to 185, right? This is the most important chart here. You have a beautiful bull structure, but as of right now, we still cannot get back above 190. In my view, 190 needs to clear for upside continuation. If it can clear 190, that, in my opinion, gives us the sustain that we need to see an upside move. In the short term, though, we still have this 185 level down below to watch out for. If we can watch 185 today and see us hold 185 today, this is a long. So I'm watching for long because the 185. I'm also watching for longs above the 190s. If we see this happen today, this is a long side trade. So to be honest with you, I'm mostly looking for longs on Nvidia. Now, if we lose 185, then I am not long Nvidia anymore. I will not long this anymore. I walk away. I say that this is a bear chart, right? So as of right now, 185 maintains. We're bullish here. So I'm looking for longs at 185 on a bounce trade, or I'm looking for the 190 build on a continuation trade today. Because again, the market's selling off, but the market's not really bearish. So I'm watching to see if Nvidia can build 190 or 185 pullback. AMD, the AMDer. So AMD, I have some notes here below. Let's pretend that's not there. I have a chart that tells me I don't know what to do here. This is my no trade zone. This is my dead zone between 225 and 195. I know that this is an interesting chart here, but it's not going to do anything for me until we break either above the 225s or below. And here, actually, you know what? I was gonna say 195, but you can see there's a smaller level here. Let's zoom in over here, right? Let's zoom in. I was gonna have a no trade zone between here and here, but you can see a pretty clear picture here at 212. Look, I don't even know for myself how I get involved here, but you can see under 212, in theory, you should see us move back down to 202, right? Why? Because you have straight down, straight up, right? So under 212, you should see an equal magnitude move down back down to 202, 203. So if you are watching for shorts on AMD, you're probably watching 212 today. If you're below 212, downside move back into 202. But for me, I'll just sort of be transparent with you. My no trade zone is here. This is where I don't get involved. So just because I'm saying that though, doesn't mean you can't trade this. This is just for me to say, right? For me, my area where I don't get involved is between 225 and 195. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I know that once we break either above that extreme high, extreme low, that in my opinion is when we get the prime price action, right? And the reason why I say that is because under 195, we have literally a gap to fill back into 167. There is a gap to fill here, an incredible, huge 20-point gap to fill here on this chart. In fact, actually almost 30-point gap fill. So this would be a nice move down. Likewise, above 225, you have a beautiful upside chart here where I don't think it stops until back in all-time highs. The reason why is because this would be a reclaim of a huge level, and we should at least go back into 240 and possibly even 270. So I know that the outer bounds of this AMD chart is where you get the big moves, either downside here or upside there. And so for me at AMD, I know the way I trade AMD, I will tend to stick to these extreme levels and look for it to continue above these extreme levels, either the highs or the lows. Now, I know it may not happen for a few days or even a few weeks, but when it does happen, that's when I'll attack this chart. Okay, so again, I'm showing you guys the larger levels and the smaller levels. The smaller levels are in between the channel, right? The larger levels are above 225 or below 194, okay? Those are the big things to watch out for here on AMD. Moving on, SMH, very briefly, SMH check, doing nothing, right? Doing nothing, I'm not gonna talk about this, gonna move on. Apple, the Appler. So Apple, people said, Brett, you are a fool, right? Why did you tell people not to long Apple, right? Apple's a weak name. Apple sucks. You were wrong about Apple. Apple moves straight up higher. Well, look at Apple, guys. Apple is not doing anything, right? I'm wrong sometimes, and I'll tell you when I'm wrong, but I was not wrong about Apple, right? You can see all it did was it moved above 273, moved higher under 275, it sold off, right? And Apple is still failing. Apple is still weak, and Apple needs to reclaim this level right there. If it can reclaim 276, then it goes back strong, right? If this can reclaim 276, then it's going to be a strong name. And I will watch this, right? Above the 276s, I'm looking for us to clear it for upside move. And Bruce just said that Apple is respecting the descending resistance, the descending trend line. Yes, it is. And eventually, this trend line will break. And that trend line, when it breaks, is going to be when we trade it, right? And so for me this morning, I'm looking for this. The break, the retest, upside move. Apple above 376 is a top watch. But for now, we must be aware that it is a little bit on the weaker end, okay? Let's look for this to build. If it does build, upside move. Amazonian, Scamazon, right? Whatever you want to call it. I call it Scamazon. You can call it whatever you want. But you can see here, this is a chart that is actually holding pretty well, okay? One of the biggest things to watch out for, though, on Amazon is, can it build back above these highs? If it can build above these highs over here, 233, 232.50, okay, 233, you know where it's going to. There, right? So I can see that, right? It's a very clear chart here. This is a chart. This is almost like Apple, except Apple is over here right now, and Amazon's over here, right? So different parts of the world here, right? Different parts of the world here. Apple's over here, and Amazon's over here. Some people probably have no idea what I'm talking about right now, and truthfully, it's fine. So right, but again, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm saying that Amazon has broken trend, whereas Apple hasn't, right? That's all I'm trying to say here. If you know, you know. Okay, 233 builds on this chart. It goes into 239. This is a long, right? This is a long Amazon. Amazon is a long to watch out for. If we can build above 233, right? We're going into 239, and this is a long side trade to watch out for today's session here in Amazon. Okay, Tesla, the Tesla chart. Here on Tesla, we have a super important level. I think that this is a moment we could all sit and watch Tesla. And this is what we need to do today is you need to watch what the market does here at 467, right? 467 to 466 here in Tesla. Again, we are data collectors right now, but you know what I'm going to say. Look at the chart. It's staring at you. This is the Waldo. This is where's Waldo wearing the red and white striped shirt, whatever color, neon colored shirt. What color is it? I don't know what it is. Is it red or yellow? I'm not sure what it is. Or orange. I think it might be orange. Whatever it is, right? He's wearing it and he's running around Times Square. It's right here. It's staring at you, right? 467. If we hold this level, bam, higher. If we fail this level, bam, lower, right? Either way, I can't lose this because tomorrow morning I'm going to tell you I was right. So that's the best part about this. But you know what I'm saying here, right? This morning on this Monday session, you need to see, are we holding 467? Because if we are holding this level, you can go along and look for an upside move. If you see us fail below a level, let's just say you see us a 5-minute candle, a dump candle under 467, this is a short side move. But as of right now, what's happening here in the pre-market? In the pre-market, you're seeing us begin to hold here, right? In the pre-market, this is looking like a long, right? Let's not change this. It's a gap down into demand. This is the perfect formula to throw off the bears and rip and rally today, right? So 467 maintains. We are bullish here. If you fell below this level, we're back bearish. Okay. Let's go over one last ticker, guys. Let's go over one last ticker. Let's go over Netflix. Netflix gapping up this morning. Nothing crazy, right? It's just back in demand 93. Nothing's crazy here on Netflix chart. Someone said gold is selling. Gold is selling, but gold is selling back into demand, right? Gold is selling back into demand. Let's see what happens here at the 40350s. This is the big level to watch out for today. Above bull, below bear. 40350 is a very important level. It's the previous all-time highs here on GLD. Guys, that is it from me today. I'll see you guys all for live trading. Let's have a good trading week, guys. It's a short week. It was a short week last week. Let's keep pushing. Let's do the right thing. And I'll see you guys all on live in about 20 minutes. Bye, guys.